Hello and welcome to Norway. We are spending 1 week in this beautiful country exploring places like Bergen, the nearby fjords, then take the most scenic train ride here in Europe all the way to Oslo to spend a few more days there. So if you're interested in this Nordic country, then stay tuned and come with us on this adventure. We happily left the scorching hot summer heat of Budapest behind, and after a quick transfer at Oslo airport, we finally arrived at the cloudy and chilly Bergen in the western fjordlands of Norway. Though we were exhausted from the trip, we still wanted to get a taste of the city, both figuratively and literally, so we headed to one of the most popular spots of Bergen, the fish market. I know it's a place that's more centered around tourists, but sitting outside at the bay, having a nice meal and watching the sunset painting the sky was a really memorable experience. And given the fact that Bergen's weather can be all over the place, it was a rare moment for us to cherish. One thing that you might not see in a lot of the YouTube videos online is that there's a lot of rain in Bergen. Apparently this is like the rainiest city in Europe. Not the wettest place, but certainly the rainiest. Anyways, in the lobby there is a sign that says rain is good. So let's get the best out of it. And indeed, let's make rain good. Let's do something fun here in Bergen. As we knew the day will be mostly dominated by rain, we took things slow to explore the city, and depending on how soaked we were, we made some brief stops to take some time to enjoy the sights Bergen offered. Honestly, even though it's super rainy, I mean, you just can't beat this view. Yesterday we saw it when the sun was shining, and now with the clouds and the mountain, it's just breathtaking. It's brilliant. One thing I find interesting is the fact that there are two fish markets here. There is the modern one with some more classier restaurant spaces, but also a lot of interesting and tasty looking items from the sea. And then there is the outdoor market that has a bit more traditional vibe. And I know, even if it certainly has a made for tourists feeling, I personally favor the outdoor market more, but definitely didn't mind the roof above my head in the modern one this time. So here's an improvised plan, because it doesn't matter if it's rain or sunshine, huge ships are huge. So let's try to get over to the other side of the bay and take a look at some really big ships. What's the big garage for?
The T-Rex, I guess.
T-Rex?
We discussed.
Right.
No idea.
After marveling at some of the big ships in the bay and getting soaked by the rain, we decided to head over to the Unesco World Heritage site of Bryggen with the iconic Hanseatic buildings of Bergen. Sitting down for a coffee, tasting the Norwegian cinnamon bun called kanelboller, and enjoying the view of the old wooden buildings was a really relaxing experience.
It's dense.
No, eat. Norway's asshole man.
I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty good.
How is it?
Yummy.
One other place we frequently saw recommended was the Trekroneren hot dog stand, with its many different kinds of sausages and sauces for a reasonable price. Naturally, we had to try the reindeer hot dog with lingonberry sauce and mustard. Reindeer hot dog. Really nice. Since we walked the whole day in the rain, we had to head back to the hotel to dry up a bit before heading out for the evening to have dinner at Pingvinen, where we tasted some local Norwegian flavors, including the spirit of the Nordics called aquavit. Yes. You know what needs to be said?
Skål.
Skål! Valinka.
I had worse.
After our nice meal, we went for a walk and closed the day at the cozy Trikken 106 cafe and bar with some drinks, games and good laughs. Our next day started with full of optimism and excitement. We are on a boat going for a fjord cruise. Yay! And there's a big boat there.
Igen!
And soon the rain came, since, you know, it's Bergen. But we were still hoping for some nice views of the fjords as we cruised away from the city. And honestly, the day couldn't have gone better. The rain started to slow down and the clouds started to pull back, creating a mystical vibe as we went deeper into the fjords, even with some sunshine here and there. Getting up close with the waterfalls and the steep rocky cliffs, and seeing the many small colorful houses on the shores made our trip a memorable one. If you ever visit Norway, don't miss out on going for a fjord cruise, but just remember, depending on where you stand, it can get really windy on these speedboats. We arrived back to Bergen with lots of experiences, but also an empty stomach. Thankfully, the hot dog stand we visited yesterday was just around the corner, so we queued up for another round of delicious sausages. I simply fell in love with Bergen and its narrow streets, lined with the cozy, cute houses. The city may not be super exciting from an architectural perspective, but I really enjoyed the simplicity and friendly atmosphere these streets had. Coffee, nice houses. Brilliant! And now we go to the top of the mountain. Our next destination was Mount Floyen, where you can easily ascend with the funicular and get an amazing view of Bergen and the surrounding islands and peninsulas. But for those who wish to explore nature a bit more, there are also many different hiking routes available. We chose one that was marked as easy/medium. Let's go! Woo! And while the journey did start out comfortable, we had no idea what experience was waiting for us later on. After a chill walk in the woods, enjoying the nice scenery of the forest, the lookout spots, lakes and ponds along the way, we arrived at a junction where our course was leading down a surprisingly more adventurous path. Our hike wasn't so chill anymore, but climbing up and down rocks, finding a solid foothold, walking across wooden bridges and small streams, and getting rewarded by some stunning scenery was a truly great time to be had. Honestly, after yesterday and today morning, I was kind of afraid that Bergen is still one of the rainiest places and it's gonna ruin our day. But the fjord ride, the sun was shining at the perfect time when we came up to this mountain. Perfect weather, everything was amazing. This trail here, if you come up to this mountain, just do not stay at the viewing point. Come, try out one of these trails. I mean, this was super fun. And we met some friendly Italians. Hey, if you're watching this, thank you very much for subscribing after this. This was fun. We made our way back down to the city, just in time for dinner at Bryggen restaurant, where the prices may be on the higher side, but the food was really delicious. Boys, the plan is to go to the mountains! Yay! Still being excited from our hike the other day, we decided to visit the other popular mountain of Bergen, Ulriken. We were full of energy and enthusiasm as we made our way up with the cable car, just to arrive at the precise time when a cloud consumed the mountaintop.
Where is Bergen?
In the mist. So the day started again with nasty weather conditions, but you know, it's Bergen, and the terrain wasn't as forgiving as the day before, so we were kinda afraid the day would be ruined, but thankfully, after walking in the mist for some time, the air cleared and we were greeted again with the spectacular scenes of the Norwegian outdoors. It's time for Norwegian snack tasting. Oh my god, this is so dense. It's actually difficult to chew. I mean, it does the job, it will give us energy. One thing that I so far noticed is that Norwegians have a completely different way of measuring the difficulty of these hiking trails. This, so far, supposed to be an easy hike for adults, children and even seniors. I mean, it's not hard, but it's definitely not the easiest. Though the view is amazing. It took us roughly 2 hours to complete the 3 kilometers to our mountain hut destination, where we had some nice convenience store meal for lunch and contemplated the challenging path behind us as we enjoyed the scenic views surrounding us. And then we had to endure the same path all the way back. Bah. We have met a new friend. While you may think we had a difficult time here, the truth is that every scenic view we had along the path made us forget each hard climb we had to take before. I can truly recommend visiting Ulriken. Just pack some proper shoes for the trip, you'll be needing those. After getting back to Bergen, we made one last stop at the old wooden buildings of Bryggen to buy some souvenirs and enjoy the area without the rain. We are in Bryggen once again, and I'm actually happy that we are here again. And probably this one, from all the other small streets, is my favorite.
And it's not raining.
Finally, it's not raining. For the next 1 hour, maybe. Then we'll see. It's Bergen, as the lady said in the knitwear shop. The next day we bid farewell to Bergen and took the train across Norway to its capital city of Oslo. The journey is dubbed one of the most scenic train rides in Europe, and that's not an exaggeration. After leaving Bergen and exiting the first tunnel, you are already greeted with a picturesque landscape, and from that point on, it's hard not to gaze outside the window for the whole duration of your trip. You're essentially getting a crash course on Norwegian geography, running along fjord lines, ascending all the way up to Finse, which at 1,222 meters is the highest station on the country's rail network, and where you can also get a glimpse at some glaciers. I would definitely recommend taking the 7-hour train ride between Bergen and Oslo in either direction for anyone who visits, as it provides a relaxing way of enjoying the beautiful countryside of Norway. Our hotel was right next to the Akerselva river, which apparently has some waterfalls, so our first few steps in the city went along the river's path. First impression, I am getting super hipster vibes for some reason. And as soon as we made a few more steps, the hipster vibes I had began to tingle even more. The rundown bars and the graffiti on the wall reminded me of the ruin bars we have in Budapest, so I immediately knew we'll need to come back here for a few drinks. Our main objective was to check out Mathallen, which is a food hall offering a wide variety of dishes from many different cuisines, including yours truly. Are we still in Norway? Before eating anything, we decided to keep walking along the river to check out the many waterfalls along the way and found a bridge with an odd stability we simply had to have fun with. Our journey led us once again to a hot dog stand, but this one sells smaller sausages with more unique flavor combinations. The hot dogs were reasonably priced, had a nice taste, and we even had a nice chat with the friendly owner. It was the perfect appetizer before getting some meals at the Mathalle we visited earlier. Now normally when I travel abroad, I like to taste the local cuisine. But this is sushi and I'm in Norway. Well, the thing is, if you go to Japan and get some nice salmon, sushi or anything, chances are that salmon is from here, from Norway. So technically, maybe I'm not eating a traditional Norwegian thing, but the ingredient is definitely Norwegian. The next day we made our way to Oslo's center, and our first destination was the iconic Opera House. Do you know how you make people walk up a steep path willingly? You make a tourist attraction out of it. I really appreciate all kinds of architecture, classic or modern, and while the Oslo Opera House may be a bit too modern and simple for my taste, it was enjoyable to explore its outside and to get a view of the Oslo Bay area. But probably the most fun we had was with the reflective glass on the side of the building. After so many days of wearing coats and different layers, finally we can just enjoy everything with t-shirts. Besides the warm sunshine, one other thing we rarely enjoyed was a good coffee. So we were really happy when we finally found a good espresso at the coffee chain Café Brenneriet. Yeah, finally some good coffee.
Agree.
Yes, yes! I am ruining the shot.
We then found some peculiar art made by a Hungarian-Norwegian sculptor, István Lisztes, then explored the Akershus fortress along with some further nice views of the Oslo harbor. After walking along the Bay area, we decided to have some lunch at a restaurant called The Salmon, which, unsurprisingly, specializes in salmon. And they do that pretty well, I must say. Our next destination was the Royal Palace. With its simple design and calm park surrounding it, it was an ideal place to take some well-deserved rest and to treat ourselves with some local chocolate. From here it was a straight road leading us into the city center with all the more classical looking buildings and shops. We even visited a souvenir shop to see if we find something that catches our eyes, but didn't buy anything in the end, though we did have some fun.
I am worried.
You are. Besides the Mathalle we visited the day before, there is another hall in the city which also focuses on food. An old bathhouse was turned into the Oslo street food court, where many different stalls serve dishes from all around the globe. With our stomachs filled, We went to explore some peaceful streets with some old and nice buildings at Telthusbakken and Damstredet. Then closed the day at a bar with some nice drinks, of course. It's our last day in Oslo, so now we're taking the subway to go out of the city to hike somewhere here at Vettakollen, and the idea is to walk all the way to Sognsvann and then come back for the evening. Now that it's our last day here in Norway and we're taking this nice and peaceful little hike, let me try to reflect a little bit on our adventures that we had, some of my observations. Norway is expensive, and that's not a negative thing, it's an observation, and everybody kind of knows before coming to Norway that it's gonna be expensive. But then when you face the reality of like 8-9 euros for a beer, yeah, for us Central Europeans, that is bloody expensive. But I don't know, any Norwegian viewers out there, what do you guys think about your, prices in economy? I would love to hear more in the comments below. And we are just 0.6 kilometers till Vettakollen viewpoint. Now, although in my previous note I have mentioned that things are expensive here, but the thing is that the service is actually really spot on. Everywhere we go, everybody's very helpful, everybody speaks English. So yeah, Norway is a really friendly country so far. One other tip, if maybe perhaps you want to come to Norway, you absolutely do not need cash. If you have a bank card, you're gonna live just fine. Because technically if you go into a shop, the first thing they push in front of you is the terminal. Yeah, you can pay with cash if you want, but anyways, we have a ton. We have no idea what we're gonna do with it. This 1 week we spent here in Norway was truly something special, and I hope that this video perhaps inspired you to visit this wonderful Nordic country. And if you're interested in some other European cities like Munich, Prague, Vienna or Budapest, for example, then check out some of our other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in our future content. Bye!